Well, hello my lovelies, and you join me here in my car at work, where I'm about to not go home but to drop a wheel off in Todmorden. So I thought I'd have a little chat with you along the way. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. Just got to wait for these cars to carry on going by, and one of them will eventually let me out. Eventually. Count them with me if you like. There goes another, and there goes another. I could be here for a while. And there goes another, and there goes another. And they go, oh, maybe this is my opportunity to go. Oh, but no, there's a van coming. Oh no, is he going to let me out? He's no choice. He'll come out anyway. Currently going up Keln Lane. Keln. Sorry. My teeth got in the way of what I was saying just then. Sorry about that. Oh, there's a bus. The bus there. I'd let him out, but there's something coming the other way, so I won't bother. And that's Keln Lane, and I turn left onto Wildhouse Lane, which is a nice little road, really. A couple of miles long. Used to be a national speed limit road. Then, maybe 15 years ago or so, they changed it to a 50 limit, and it's still very busy. One of my favourites. This particular road was one where I drove at 60 miles per hour the first time ever whilst having a driving lesson. My driving instructor said to me, this is one of those moments where you can just get it out of your system. Get it out. Come on. You can't put your foot down here and do 60 miles per hour, so you may as well do. Enjoy it while you can, because one day it'll probably be a 30. Well, I must say it's not a 30 now, but it's a 50, and people don't drive at 50 along here because it's just too busy. As they say on radio, silence is dead radio, so I should endeavour not to do that again. I don't want anybody switching off, do I? No. Good evening, it's Boaty here, having a lovely time whilst I drive along the Wildhouse Lane in my Rover, and this particular car is a Rover 420 GSI Tourer, a very rare spec car indeed, and I'm sure if it was for sale you'd be trying to not buy it, but if I wanted to sell it, what I would do is simply not put it up for sale, and then suddenly lots and lots of people would be wanting to buy it. So when I decide I do want to sell it, I'll take it off sale. Do you see the logic there? Do you? Ooh, can anybody smell that smell of linseed oil? The smell of linseed oil seems to be on my fingers. It's rather sticky, except it's not linseed oil. It is in fact clear lacquer. But the thing about clear lacquer is if you don't wipe it all off, it leaves behind a smell that smells just like linseed oil. And that's what my hands currently smell like, a linseed oil. I don't mind the smell of linseed oil, but the only thing is, rather than oily, which you would expect from the smell of linseed oil, this is rather sticky instead. So I've got sticky fingers. I'm sorry, that sounds rather weird, doesn't it? And I don't mean to sound weird. I don't mean to go on either. So maybe I would actually like to end this video here, but I've got a good 40 minutes worth of driving to go, and I'm sure you'd be all very, very interested in knowing exactly where I'm going to and what I'm going to get up to when I get there. Wouldn't you? Yes, you would. Hey, what's going on here? Oh, that's minicab regulation parking, which is on the zigzags, of course, because they're allowed to park in places that others aren't. We're currently going by Hollingworth Lake, which is a tourist attraction around Littleborough that many people flock to regardless of the time of year or the weather. I mean, currently it's going dark and it's raining, but I'll bet there'll be somebody from Stoke-on-Trent or Banbury or somewhere in Essex walking around this lake right now, not being able to see where they're going and treading in dog shit. I hope they're having a good time. I'm sure they are. I'm sure they know exactly what they're doing, and that's why they're doing it. As nobody seems to believe me, I do an awful lot of editing. It do take a long time. It looks, I mean, I have the art of making it look like there's been no editing whatsoever, down to a T, where you watch a video and you think that video has not been edited at all. But in actual fact, I spend ages doing it. I'm up all night doing editing of videos for your enjoyment. And because I make them look seamless and like they haven't been edited, it takes even longer than what they would have done otherwise. What shall I talk about next? Well, maybe I should do a live stream on the way to drop this wheel off. Would that be a good idea? Yes, I'm sure it would. Yes. Look, there was not so long back a big pothole here, just where that Mustang broke then. And when I say broke, I mean as in brakes, B-R-A-K-E-S, not the other kind of brakes that would be relevant to the damage caused by the potholes should you have hit it, and I certainly didn't. But I know many people who did complained to the council, and then eventually they came along and filled the pothole in with some asphalt. But of course, the way that they do these things these days is to do it quickly, and then move on to the next one. And by the time they've got around to the pothole fixing, the damage has become much worse, because they have a man or a lady who, let's not be sexist here, I'm not a misogynist, that comes around with some paints, and they will paint around the potholes so they can be seen by whoever it is that's coming along to fix them. Because, which is a little bit like saying that they can't be that easy to spot, because otherwise the people that come along and fix them, which you would imagine are professionals in road mending, wouldn't know where to find them. But I suggest they would know where to find them if only they was to drive along the road beforehand. So it's clear that that's not what actually happens. Through the green light and onto Todmorden Road. This is one of my favourite roads for driving along when I want to get to Todmorden. If I want to get to Burnley, for example, I could also use this road all the way to Todmorden, and then from Todmorden you can take the road from Todmorden to Burnley. And that is something I have done on many an occasion, and I've enjoyed it very, very much. And if only I had to go along that particular route right now, I would be doing exactly that. But the truth is, I don't need to, because that's not where I'm going right now. I see a red flashing light ahead of me there. That must be somebody on a push bike on the pavement. And I don't know whether you're with me on this or not, but that is fine. Riding your push bike on the pavement is fine, because the roads are dangerous. And they're dangerous because of people that are simply not paying enough attention to their driving. They're doing things like using their mobile phone to record video and using up all of their concentration to think of something to say next. So, going onto the pavement to drive your motorcycle, not motorcycle, tricky chaps words, aren't they? No, a push bike, that is a bicycle propelled along by the power of man or woman, remember I'm not a misogynist, that is operated by simply turning the crank with the use of pedals and feet, powered by Weetabix or whatever it is that you had for your breakfast that day, or maybe even the day before if you've had something like some nuts. in order to make your bicycle move from one place to another. And it's highly recommended for people who like cycling, and not so highly recommended for people that don't like cycling. And I'm not sure who those people are. Now, if you're not a cyclist, do jump into the comments and say something about this particular subject, and I can argue with you. I'll argue the toss with you and disagree with you, whatever it is you prefer. That looks like a very narrow car. I know, it's just quite a long way off. As you can see, I'm still on the famous Todmorden road, where I am still on my trip up to Todmorden. That is exactly why the road is called Todmorden Road, because of the connection between one town and another. This road takes you to Todmorden directly. All you simply have to do is follow the road, don't deviate, don't go down one of the back streets somewhere, and you will end up in Todmorden. It's a very, very clever and useful system of naming roads. And that is exactly why, if you've ever noticed this, but some towns you will find, in fact all towns I imagine, will have a road going to it from more than one direction. And that means that the same road can be somewhere else, effectively. Or at least, for name's sake, there will be another Todmorden Road, I imagine. And there may even be another Todmorden, I don't know. I'll have to look. Does anybody know whether there is another Todmorden in the UK, or indeed anywhere? I mean, it doesn't have to be in the UK, it could be anywhere. And I'm sure if there is one anywhere, then I'd like to drive along it. This particular stretch of road here runs parallel to the canal, which is called the Rochdale Canal, the Rochdale Ship Canal, which runs parallel with it. And that means it's adjacent to the road, as is the train track, which is another very, very interesting point, that if you happen to like train tracks, you can see the train track from the road, provided it's not dark. And it is currently dark, so I can't see the train track or the canal. But if I was on the train, I could also see the road from the train, provided it wasn't dark, and the canal. And from the canal you can see both, provided they're not dark. And I would say it's quite inadvisable to use the canal towpath whilst in the dark, because it could be ever so slightly dangerous. You could fall in to the water, and the dangers of falling into cold water are pretty well understood, and I'm sure you don't need me to explain to you the dangers of falling into water, although you probably will imagine I'm going to do this anyway. But oh no, I've got distracted. I'll try and come back to that in a minute once we get past this 30 sign, and we'll find something else new to talk about along this particular road. This road may not even be called Todmorden Road at the moment, but Walsden Road, because we're about to go into a little village called Walsden, famous for the Gordon Rigg Garden Centre, which is occupied by many thousands of people at any given point, because it's simply way too busy to go in there and buy anything. It's a garden centre. People buy gardens and stuff to put in their gardens. And then, oh balls, my phone's about to run out of battery.